All right. Hey, good morning, everyone. We have a great group piling through the digital doors there, and that's always nice to see your bright and shiny and cold faces and sparkling with icicles and everything. Hopefully, everyone's having a good week. Hopefully, you're surviving the cold and the elements. So, I happen to be down in Florida right now, and that sounds like it should be warm, doesn't it? But it's been like in the 40s and 50s, maybe pop up around 60, which that still sounds warmer than Ohio, but it's not what I had signed up for. I was hoping I was going to be basking in the sun, but none of that. So I've still got pale white Chris going on. So, all right. Well, hey, I wanted to talk today about our big announcement for the coming year. We have a pretty neat little opportunity for all of you. And I announced this at our Christmas parties, but not everyone was able to attend our Christmas parties. But this year, we've been working to become a ridiculously generous brokerage, and that's been that phrase has been on my mind. I want to be a ridiculously generous brokerage. And I think we've already qualified for that because none of the other brokerages can do business and charge their agents the low amounts that we charge our team. And all the other brokers are always asking me, how do you do that? That doesn't make sense. How can you manage a brokerage like that? And just to make it even more fun, I thought it would be what can we do to be even more generous? And so we came up with an idea of what if we do a cruise and we give all of our agents the ability to go on this cruise to the Bahamas, let everyone go for free if they would like to go. You have to qualify for that. And now we used to do cruises for Plum Tree. You get into some of these big national brokerages, and they have their national convention in Texas or Nebraska or wherever that is. I don't know. So that everyone's having these big conventions, and I was thinking, wow, that's a shame that we can't really do a national convention like that. But then it dawned on me several years ago, well, we can do a cruise. And so we started doing cruises, and some of you have been along with us for those. But then the last one we did was in 2020, and it was amazing, except for the little COVID thing. So we went right at the end of February in 2020. I don't know if you remember that year. How many of you remember 2020? We had that little pandemic thingy going around the world. Yeah, that's the year we all try to forget. But we had a cruise planned for that. And, coming around December and January, we're getting news about this big pandemic that's starting to circumnavigate the world. And I was thinking, well, it's all the way over in China. It's not going to get to the US. We'll be fine. And then it hit Europe, and then Italy's like, we were starting to see all these videos out of Italy of emergency rooms that were overrun. And we're still, planning our cruise. And it's like, oh gosh, what do we do? Well, of course, we're still going to go. And so we went on the cruise, and man, they were passing out the hand sanitizer like it was candy. It was they were so careful, but even with all that, the very next week they shut down the entire cruise industry and Disney and all that. None of us saw any of that coming, but that was our last cruise. It was in the shadow of the big pandemic, and then the year after that, we put some feelers out. Hey, when they opened the cruising back up, hey, who would like to go on a cruise? And everyone's like, nah, I'm okay, I'm good. Because we were so sickened by everything that happened with the pandemic. But we've come a long way since then. And so we've gone ahead and we have booked our next cruise for Plum Tree. And let me share my slides with you. Okay, so we've booked our next cruise, the next Plum Tree cruise. We call this our cruise for success. And because we're going to do training on the ship and help you become more successful in your real estate business. So that's going to be the theme. But so this is going to actually be in 2026. Okay, so it's about exactly 1 year from now. So you might be saying, well, shoot, why are you telling me now? I want to go on a cruise next week. Well, the reason why we're telling you is because we're going to give you an opportunity to win the cruise for free, to go for free. And it's going to take a little bit of time. We want to give you plenty of time to be able to plan toward that. So the actual dates for the cruise are going to be February 23rd through the 27th of 2026. And that is a Monday through Friday. We feel like that is the best schedule, especially for agents. You can get there on Monday, jump on the ship, we head out to sea, and then on Tuesday, we'll be in Nassau, the Bahamas. And then on Wednesday, we're going to be just a day at sea. We'll just be floating around out in the ocean. And then on Thursday, we're going to have what they call a perfect day at Coco Cay. How many of you have been to Coco Cay? Any of you been to that? It's amazing. Lee and I did an exploratory trip about a month, maybe 6 weeks ago. We did a cruise on a celebrity cruise, which also goes to Coco Cay, and it was magnificent. I'm going to show you videos and stuff of that. Uh, Not today, but I've got some videos and pictures of that I'm going to share with you, so you can really see how great of an opportunity this is. So we're going to be going on the Royal Caribbean Utopia of the Seas, and I don't know if you've heard of this ship, but this just rolled out several months ago. It's a brand new ship. Now, the last ship that we did our cruise on, I wasn't real educated on this, and so we booked the cruise. It turns out the ship that we were on was in the last week before it went into a year of rehab, you know. So probably all the alcohol, they had to have ship rehab, the whole ship, I guess. But basically they're rehabbing the ship because they go for, I don't know how long they go, 5 or 10 years, and then they have to replace all the carpets, all the beds. They completely renovate the entire ship. Well, we were in the last week, like it smelled bad. It was just it was everything was fun, but it was just an old tired ship. I thought we're not going to do that again. So we scheduled the Utopia of the Seas, and we had to schedule it a year out because Scott and I, we worked on this, and there weren't the ocean view cabins available even 6 months out. So that's why we're doing this a year out. This is a great opportunity because this ship will fill up very quickly, and we actually have spots for our whole brokerage on this ship. Now it's going to go out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and it's what is that? Lauderdale by the Seas, I think, in that area. There's a great cruise port, one of the biggest in the world there. And then we're headed to Nassau, Coco Cay. It's going to be great. We are going to do training on the ship. Each day we're going to have three different 1 hour sessions where we'll do training. So you'll actually be able to get continuing education credits for that. And so the if you have expenses in this whole trip, it's a company trip. There's going to be professional training, and I'm not a tax expert, but from what I understand, that will give you the ability to be able to write off the expenses for the business trip. So that's that. So here's what we are giving you the opportunity to do in order to go with us for free. If you recruit two agents between now and November, this coming November, two agents, that's all. You get to go cruise with us for free. If you recruit three agents between now and November, you get to go for free and bring a guest along with you. You can bring your spouse, significant other. We do limit one spouse per agent. So That's a joke. That's just to see if anyone's paying attention. You guys are kind of quiet and kind of no one's smiling today. You should be smiling. We have a cruise here that we're doing. Okay. So and then some questions have come up like at the Christmas parties. If you recruit no agents, that's okay. You can still come along and you could just pay for the cruise and come along with us, and that's fine. And so now we do ask if you're going to come along with us, we want you to purchase your tickets through us because we have a group rate. The last time we did a cruise, we had some of our agents they were they like picked up their own tickets like at Costco. We didn't even know they were coming. And then all of a sudden they're there on the ship. Oh, great. I'm glad you made it. And so we want to keep all of our registration together. Make sure you register through us. That way you'll have access to the amenities that we can offer because of our group opportunities, including the training. So make sure you book that through us, and we will get you the best deal possible. So, but that's a free cruise for you. Um, so let's talk a little bit about recruiting. Uh, Actually, before we talk about what is recruiting, let me show. I think let me share this a little bit differently. Let me show you the cruise ship because I think it's worth seeing. Let me share that screen. That's Alex Hermosi. Okay, let me see. So this is the Utopia of the Seas. I hope you can hear this okay.
It's the biggest weekend on the planet. It's going to be our first Oasis class ship that we've placed straight into 3 and 4 day cruises to Perfect Day. When you combine Utopia with Perfect Day, there will be no vacation like it.
Utopia of the Seas has just so much to offer guests from the open decks, the pools, you name it. It's really what short vacation dreams are made of. There's something for everyone. Guests are looking for water experiences. We know they're looking for fun in the sun, and it really just brings all of that energy and excitement that Royal Caribbean vacations are known for to the heart of the open decks.
On Utopia of the Seas, we really wanted to bring to life some new food and beverage experiences for our guests. So there's been so much thought, effort, and commitment put into developing special products. In addition, we're bringing guest favorite food experiences elevated to a whole new level.
The bars and lounges and the nightlife, the shows, just so much to do on board. The vibe across the ship gives you that energy that you're looking for to just recharge on a short vacation. We want people to understand all of the great opportunities there are for people to try new things and celebrate with their families and spend time together on an easy, quick, no-brainer, no-complainer getaway.
Utopia actually has the best room mix of any Oasis class ship that we've delivered thus far. Solarium suites are some of the best real estate available on any of our ships. You now have floor to ceiling windows, the best views at sea, panoramic views, but also the ability to drop down the windows so that you can still experience the sea air.
3 days will be never enough to experience everything that's available to you on Utopia and Perfect Day. And our intention is that people have such an incredible time, they'll come back again and again and again and again.
Okay, so that's Utopia of the Seas. And this is actually the ship here. Let me see. This is on their website. You should get on their website and just check it out. It's just such a really excellent, exciting type of ship. So much going on there. The restaurants, the food, it's spectacular. They're getting better and better at these ships, and it's just hard to even believe what they can get on the water. So I think this will be one of the best experiences. Port Canaveral, that's the name of it. I was trying to remember the name of that port. But I think this will be one of the best experiences you can have for, you know, getting to know other agents, getting to learn how to do real estate better and how to network with other agents. I think it'll be a good experience for everyone. So that's the ship. So recruit two agents. You're in for free. Recruit three. You and a partner can come along with us. Recruit three. Recruit no agents. No problem. You can still pay to come along. So what is recruiting? That's the next question. What does it mean to recruit someone? We've gotten to the size now where pretty much everyone has heard of Plum Tree, and I'm excited about that. I'm glad about that. It's we've built credibility over the years. That means just about everybody who comes to Plum Tree already knows a Plum Tree agent. And one of the things we see from time to time is an agent will join from another brokerage, and somebody at Plum Tree will text me or text Dawn and say, "Hey, I knew that agent. I told him Plum Tree was great. Where's my $1,000?" And by the way, we are still in addition to the cruise, we will still pay you $1,000 bonus, and we'll pay you $100 every time the agent closes a deal. Okay, so that's still on the table. This isn't replacing that. This is in addition to that. So, but sometimes an agent will join, and an agent will say, "Well, I knew that agent. Do I get my $1,000?" And the answer to that's no. Thank you for putting in a good word or whatever, but that would be more of a referral, okay? And sometimes like an agent might call you and say, "Hey, I'm getting ready to join Plum Tree, or I'm thinking about it. What do you think?" So and that's all good, all right? But what we're seeing as recruiting is when our agents actually pursue another agent and say, "Hey, we're looking for great agents. You seem like a great agent. Would you be opposed to me introducing you to Chris?" And so a that's recruiting, and so the introduction basically should come through a text message. So introduce them to me through a text message string, and in our little universe here, that's the way that you will, for the most part, establish procuring cause. That's how we know for sure you were the one who were recruiting them. You went to the effort, you followed the instructions, you introduced them to me through a text message string. And then the next way that we know is on the broker agreement, they write down who was it that recruited them to Plum Tree. And so we have it in a couple different ways. So we don't want to prevent anyone from getting the procuring cause on a recruiting thing, but we to make sure it's clear, we want you to make sure you introduce them to me. So here's the best strategy for that. Here's the best strategy for recruiting in the upcoming year. Each time you have a deal, be nice. Start off by being nice to the other agent, okay? And that's truly a part of our brand, is to be nice, to be the kindest brokerage that's out there. That's what we're striving for. So work to be nice, okay? And then once the deal has closed, then say something like this. "Hey, it was really great working with you throughout this transaction. We're actually looking for great agents. Would you be opposed to me introducing you to Chris?" Okay, so that wording is very specific, okay? And I got that from Alex Hermosi. I was asked, I don't know if you follow Alex on social media or not. That's a really great still shot there, isn't it? Still frame. But he's an amazing entrepreneur. He started out with gyms. As you can tell, he's pretty jacked. So he owned gyms and started building those, and now he's worth like over $100 million. And I hate it that he's so muscular and he's worth a lot of money. Makes me feel like I need to get busy. But let me rewind this here and listen what
I'm trying to get my wife to go where I want to go to dinner. Because I want to go.
By the way, I don't necessarily connect with all of his points, but I think this is kind of funny because he said, if I want to get my wife to go where I want to go for dinner, okay, just start with that little, be careful with this, okay?
Cheesecake Factory, the finest establishment in the land. If I say, hey, babe, you want to go to Cheesecake Factory? She might be like, well, no, I don't want to go to Cheesecake Factory. Or like, I'm not really sure. Now, if I switch that and I said, babe, would you be against going to Cheesecake Factory? You're like, well, I'm not against going to Cheesecake Factory. And I'm like, great, let's go. That's the beauty of a no-based question. See how different it's phrased? And if I say, hey, you excited to move forward today? That's a yes, right? It's harder to get someone to say, yes, I'm excited to move forward today. Would you be opposed to moving forward at the end of the conversation? No, I'm not opposed to moving forward. Great. And we get the sale. The psychology behind this is that people feel safer saying no. People feel like they retain their autonomy. They feel like they're at ease, especially like you think about decision fatigue. At the end of the day, people don't want to be responsible for anything. They don't feel vulnerable to saying yes and agreeing to something, right? Instead, they prefer to say no and stay safe. But if you phrase your questions properly, you can get people to say yes by saying no, which is one of the most powerful sales tactics.
Okay, so that's pretty funny, I think. Be careful. We're not out to manipulate our spouses, right? But it is funny. I shared this with Lee, I think a year ago, and because I thought it was funny. And but I've actually adopted the strategy of saying, "Hey, would you be opposed to doing this?" And I've adopted that like in business or with it's a great sales technique. It really is, because people, if they can say no, they feel like they're still in control of the situation. And so Lee and I have I've joked about it, and I've said something like, "Hey, would you be opposed to this?" And she knows kind of, yeah, I know where that comes from, Chris. And then last night, she asked me, she was picking out paint colors for a bathroom, and she said, "Hey, would you be opposed to this color?" And I thought, I know what you're doing. And I thought, that's pretty good. Lee's picking up on these sales techniques. So, anyways, and she did. She got color because I was, I'm not opposed to that color. Of course not. Okay. So that's why I've phrased this. That's the context of why I say, it was really great working with you. Through this transaction, we're actually looking for great agents. Would you be opposed to me introducing you to Chris? It's really a great way to frame that, and you can use that in a lot of different. If you're at a listing appointment or you're working with buyers, think about that. It's almost like a reverse close. Instead of asking them to do something, you're asking, well, would you be opposed to this? Well, no. Okay, great. Let's do it. Okay, so the big picture, if you now think about big picture recruiting, the value that could be here, because we're committed to helping you get a residual income. All right. So think big picture. I'm not into get rich quick. I'm not into get rich quick, but I am in to get rich slowly. I believe we can help you to become wealthy over time. It's not get rich quick, but we can help you get there over a normal amount of time. And so think in terms of 5 years, what this could do. If let's say you do a dozen deals a month, I mean, not a month, that'd be something. Let's say you do a dozen per year, just one a month, okay? And we want to make sure all of our agents are at that level. If you're not at that level and you want to be at that level, let me know. We'll help get you there. But many of you, most of you are doing at least a deal a month. And so let's just say each time, once a month, you recruit the agent. At the end of the deal, hey, it's great working with you. We're looking for great agents. Would you be opposed to me introducing you to Chris? And then and then I'll do the work. I'll recruit them in, pay you the $1,000, pay you the $100 every time they close a deal. Now, if you do that every month, and those agents are doing about a deal a month, in 5 years, that's a $60,000 a year residual income. Okay. And we've paid out, we just started this last year, and we paid out over $100,000 in residual income to our agents this year. So it is turning into a real thing. And there's some agents that are generating money every month, and some agents are, kind of oblivious, and that's fine. Maybe recruiting's not your thing, no problem. But you don't want to miss the opportunity if it could be your opportunity. So we have that for you. It's this bucket of gold coins sitting there waiting for you to take it. So um, if you just build that into your structure, a recruiting piece, I promise you it will be worth it. Okay. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. I'm not going to take all of your day, but I wonder we can now open this up for just Q&A. It can be about recruiting. It can be about the cruise, but it can also be about maybe subject content from this week. Maybe you had a deal and you have a question about it. Maybe you have some situation. And as you're thinking of that thing, you're going to say, let me just say, next week in our BAM session, next Monday morning, we're going to talk about creating a business plan for the best year you've ever had in real estate. But you're going to plan it. We're not going to get lucky. We're going to plan the best year you've ever had. And I'm going to teach you how to do that next week. So, um, other than that, what questions or comments do we have from the gang today?
Hi, Chris. I just want to say thank you for this. I had heard a little bit of buzz from our friends in Plum Tree that I missed that whole presentation. So I said, I got to find out more about this. And I'm glad you brought it to our attention today. I'm super excited. And my question is actually about what can we expect for turnaround time? So I would send a text connecting you up with my potential recruit, and you respond back, and then you take it from there. So what kind of time are we talking about?
I would say it would be between 1 day and 5 years, but don't hold me to that. Um, but and the reason I say it like that is um, it really depends on the agent because different agents are at different places in their own careers. Some agents have a massive business to pull over, and that takes 6 months of planning, 3 months of planning to make a transition like that. And we're getting pretty good at helping agents plan out that type of a transition for large business. Other agents, um, other agents, they come on and I talk to them and they're like, yep, let's do it. Sounds good. And they're on by that afternoon. So there's just such a wide variety. If I were to look at most agents, I would say it's a couple weeks that it takes them to think through that process. It is interesting. Sometimes I'll meet with an agent and it's funny because a lot of times the agent will sell 2 homes a year or 3 homes a year, and they look at me kind of mockingly, and they're like, "I'm with Coldwell Banker," and I'm thinking, yeah, you're making $4,000 a year, and you're mocking us. So different perspectives out there, different vantage points, um, and everyone's different. But in line with that, it is really important to follow up with the agents. Say, hey, how'd your call go with Chris? And by the way, let me also say this. Aaron, the hitman, Bennick Thomas down here. You can see he's down here. What is that background, man?
I'm a dork. It's a Doctor Who background.
Wow. Okay. So you are still on the planet Earth. Is that correct?
For the time being, unfortunately, yeah.
Okay. So just so you know, um, what we've seen, the recruiting has been so amazing from our agents over the past year that it's gotten me pretty busy. So far, we purposefully created it so that I would be a bottleneck. All of it comes through me, and but what we've figured out this year is that Aaron is also an exceptional recruiter, and so what it might be, I still want you to introduce him to me. You could introduce them to Aaron, but if you introduce them to me, it could be that I'll also hand them off to Aaron for that face-to-face encounter or conversation, because he's amazing. And so just to get you emotionally prepared for that possibility. That doesn't mean it's, it's we don't care as much about this recruit or that recruit. It's just, for workflow, we had to have a little bit of additional support. So Aaron is helping us with those recruiting conversations. So, and thank you, Aaron, for doing that. We really appreciate that. Aaron's brought in a host of agents this year, and
I've
so
had to switch it to coffees because these lunches are making me real chunky.
yeah, welcome to my world. So that is coffees are great or whatever it might be, but it's a good problem. That's a growing problem, and we have uh, lots of great support there. So anyway, that was a very long answer, Marcy. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Any other thoughts about that, or did you have a follow-up on
Well,
that?
it was kind of a loaded question because whenever I've reached out to you and asked you to reach out to an agent, it's immediate. So I was setting you up to say I respond quickly, but you went into a whole nother direction, which is fine. But that's a good segue to part two of my question, which is a lot of agents are at companies that, maintain a substantial cap, like $16,000 a year or 21, the brokers, right? And so when an agent is just now capped, they're a little bit reluctant to leave that cush at 100% to come down again to a 70-30 split or whatever. And so I wanted to hear what is the party line that we're telling them about coming over when they've already capped at their current brokerage?
I would say we can customize an offer for every agent, and it's there isn't a blanket policy, but we can work with them. Just an example. Now, I wouldn't say go out and throw this out. Hey, we'll do this for everyone, but we have like if someone here we are in January. If someone has their cap and their cap renews in April, something like that. There have been some agents where we've said we'll consider you to be capped now until April, since that was what you have already accomplished with your previous brokerage. So that's one strategy that we've had, but we've got a few different ways. There, we'll do just about anyone. We make ridiculous offers that make no financial sense on our end, other than the fact that we're trying to reach the agents and make it attractive for them. So now, just to be clear, also, maybe some of you aren't aware of our programs. We have two programs that you can offer to agents. We have $275 a month, and then you keep 100% of your commissions. So at the end of a year, that's a total of $3,300. Okay. So that's been our core plan. I'd say 98% of our agents are on that plan. But we did come to figure out that there are some agents who prefer not to make a monthly payment. And so we looked at some of the other models that were out there that had an inexpensive broker split, and we wanted to beat all of them. So what we have now is a part two or a plan B. If they don't want to do the monthly payment, we have a 70-30 split. But the thing that makes our 70-30 split different than any other brokerages is that it's just a $3,900 cap. Okay. So if you ever talk about the 70-30 split, make sure you say it without taking a breath. It's a 70-30 split, but the thing that makes it different is that it's just a $3,900 cap. Okay. Because I've spoken with agents, and some agents are like, well, I'm already on 70-30. Well, yeah, with a $25,000 cap. That's different. That's a different program. And so 70-30 with a $3,900 cap. And yeah.
And no monthly fees.
And there's no monthly fee with that.
Right.
So,
I know someone just posted in the chat that one brokerage, sells itself as only, ours is only $12,000 as a cap. However, they also take 2% after you've capped. So that's a lie. But
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of people don't even know what their brokerage model is. They went there because their friend was there, or they went there because it's the name and they need to be affiliated with a big brand or whatever. But I wanted to just ask one last question for you to describe. And some people may be grandfathered in and you're not doing this anymore. So get us all up to date on teams, husband, wife, and mother, daughter teams that you have offered some of our agents.
Well, a team is going to be it's going to be the same. So it's 275 per month per agent, and it's going to be a 70-30 split. If they come in with a team and they're going to share all of everything's going to go under one account, then typically there would be that would be a 3,900 times two cap for the team. So it's a $7,800 cap for the team. That's kind of how we do that.
Okay.
Ashish, I see either you're saying we're number one or you had a question.
Question was not there, just like you explained that one 70-30 split was there, and with that cap of $3,900. I will admit that one thing in front of you guys. As a rookie, it is not a year as a realtor in the market. It is very useful for us because of when you were interviewing me, that time you explained me the completely in detail, and where the other, I also interviewed, I also meet with the another brokerages too. But what they are asking, that when if there is no money is there or any other things are there, then they will still charge the monthly fees or a certain amount is there. But with the 70-30%, just rookie, just like me, it is a blessing for me right now that how I can survive, how I can build the business, or how I can sell the market, that one. And particular with the Scott or the Aaron or Mercy's excellent help, that one, I'm learning every day something new in this market. I want to share that my experience.
That's fantastic. Thank you for that feedback. You're looking good in that Plum Tree shirt there, brother. That's great. We wanted to be able to help agents with that by offering that, and actually, I think Marcy helped me with that strategy because we had talked about that before we completely rolled it out. So she was one of the thinkers behind that strategy. But one of the things too, I had an agent tell me one time, I think they were Coldwell Banker or maybe Comey, that I said, hey, we have a 70-30 split with a $3,900 cap. And her response was, well, I'm already on a 70-30 split and I don't even have a cap. And she saw that as a benefit. So some agents don't even know what it means to have a cap. And so make sure you say after 3,900, you're 100% commission. That, at other brokerages, they're going to just keep taking your money forever, especially if there's no cap. And that can turn into real money after a while. So excellent. Any other thoughts, questions, comments?
I will say, when I meet with a lot of agents, one of the things they mention is the transaction fee. And one of the things that I've noticed, a lot of brokerages increase their transaction fee after their agents have capped. People don't always take that into account. There's a lot of money people are giving up at other brokerages and they have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of the reason why agents are staying with these other brokerages is it's just an awareness problem. Like they're not aware that it can be different somewhere else. So yeah, get the word out, make sure they understand that. I would encourage you. So if you think about, if you're just going for the cruise, and I think that's a great strategy, look at the agents on the other side of the deals that you've done deals with over the last 12 months or 2 years. And just go find them, say, hey, we're looking for great agents. I remember when we did that deal last May, you just stuck out to me as a great agent. Would you be opposed to me introducing you to Chris? And so um, you can go, start shuffling the deck a bit and find some agents out there. And it shouldn't be too hard to pull out two or three agents that would be willing to at least have a conversation about it. And that's if that's not even being real proactive. Like you can think back who are agents that you've worked with before at your other brokerage, who are friends that you've gotten to know over the years. Most of the agents in our group are, you're connecting with other agents through Facebook groups and just a lot of different ways. You go to training events. Think about. I was pretty encouraged, and one of our new agents had just joined last week. I always ask for our agents to send me their goals. We start with your goals. We don't start with our goals. We start with your goals, and then how can we support you in your goals? And this agent gave me his goals for production and his goals for recruiting. And I thought, that's great. He obviously gets it that this is a legitimate form of income. It's a stream of income. So I would encourage everyone to think that way. Any other thoughts, questions?
Chris,
Yes,
I actually have a
Selena.
question. So for people who are like, oh, well, I haven't heard of Plum Tree before, or I'm gonna go to this brokerage because they have a bigger name, what do you suggest that we actually, I don't know, say? It's like, yeah, that is a bigger name, but at the same time, I don't know.
Well, I've obviously had that since the beginning. The first week that we ever recruited, we um, it was my wife and myself. We were Plum Tree Realty. We just started the brokerage, and I sent an email out to 5,000 realtors in Cincinnati and said, "Hey, we're hiring. Let me know if you'd like to grab lunch this week." And it was a personalized email to each person, so it was done obviously through software, and so I had like 16 free lunches I had to give out the next week, and and each agent each agent would say, "So it's just you and your wife?" I'd be like, "Yeah, but trust me, this is going to be great." Like, okay, well, good luck with that. And so, I was buying lunches for everybody. I probably bought 60 lunches for agents before we got our first one to join. So I definitely understand the uphill battle of being the small brokerage on the block. So what I've come to find out is that the best thing you can do is to play your weakness as a strength. Figure out what about your weakness makes that a strength. Okay. And for us, small was better because it's personal. Do you want a big cookie cutter corporate lost in the shuffle brokerage, or would you rather have a small brokerage that can really focus on your business, help you, can be personal, where you actually get to talk with the leadership of the company, where you actually get to interact? Like that's the vibe that we want. And when you go to a brewery, do you want a big national franchise brewery or do you like a little local brewery? I don't know about you. I like the local brewery myself. I'd rather have a local restaurant. I'd rather have handcrafted burgers rather than burgers that were bought at Costco and thrown on thrown in the fryer or on the geez, what do you call it? The grill. That's a hard word, grill. But I'd rather have the small customized service. So that's how I kind of play it up. And the other thing is, um, uh, there's a book out there called Purple Cow Marketing by Seth Godin. I don't know if you've heard of that. I read that just before we started Plum Tree, and it really encouraged me because um, he talked about when he took his family to France, And when they first got to France, they jumped in a rental car, started driving cross country in France, and they kept seeing these big farms with these massive, big brown cows. And, it was just farm after farm. And at first it was like, wow, this is spectacular. We love this. And then after a couple hours of the farm after farm after farm, he said the farms just kind of became invisible. The cows were invisible. They weren't even noticing them anymore. And he said, now what would have gotten their attention would have been if they had driven past a purple cow. Like that would have gotten their attention. They would have stopped the car and gotten out and gotten selfies with the cow and put it on their social media because that would have been remarkable, right? Because it was different. And he said most businesses today are just brown cows. They're just fading into the background and you don't even really notice them. And I thought that about real estate signs. If Remax, one of the biggest in the nation, EXP, Keller Williams, they're the big behemoths in the country, and their signs are everywhere. Okay, that's great, but they really become invisible. And so when you put a plum tree sign in a yard, people look at it twice, like, huh, wow, that's interesting. I wonder what that is. So we really get noticed more because we're small, because it brings up people's curiosity. And it's just a little bit different. So I always play whatever that weakness is, figure out a way to explain that that's actually our strength. Kind of long-winded on these answers today. Sorry about that.
No, it was wonderful. Thank you.
What other thoughts or questions out there? All right. I'll take that 5 seconds of silence as if we've covered everything. But next week, we're going to set a plan for you to build the best year in real estate that you've ever had. We're going to show you how to do that. So, all right. If you need anything, feel free to reach out. As you know, Scott Reif is our managing broker. So he is there to help you. And I know Chris Johnson, I don't know if he's there. He's probably down there somewhere. In Kentucky, if you have Kentucky questions or documents to sign, make sure you get those to Scott Reif, Chris Johnson, and Marcy's helping us big time up in Northeast Ohio. But we're all willing to help if you need anything. But don't get frostbite this week and go out and sell some homes. So have a great week, guys and gals. See ya.